And I will introduce myself also. My name Novita will be moderator and also MC at this event. And I hope this event will be enjoyable and worthy of knowledge. Before we start opening for another speech, I would love to tell you we're going to listen Indonesian national anthems, and then we have opening speech from our rector, Dr. Joseph Teguh Santoso. Then continue for presentation from speaker. At the end, we have Q&A session in room chat, or if you want to ask, you can raise your hand and a brief photo session at the end. Yeah. For the next session, we will listen Indonesian national anthems for opening. So, Mr. Aska, you can start it. Thank you. Event will be enjoyable and worthy of knowledge. Yeah, thank you for Mr. Aska. And the next session, we will hear opening speech by our rector, Dr. Joseph Teguh Santoso. For Dr. Joseph, the time is yours. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Test. Check sound. Novita, can you hear my sound?
Yes.
Okay. Wait a minute. Tes. Oke. Mas Wibi kedengeran nggak? Putus-putus. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The honorable of speakers, our speakers today, Dr. Estela, Salomé, Solís, Gutiérrez, Professor of Faculty of Human Science from Autonomous University of Baja, California, and sorry for the interruption because the connection, I think. Udah bisa?
Yeah, it's clear, sir.
Okay. 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 Sorry for the unstable internet connection here. And first take this occasion to pay tribute to all of the audiences of this international webinar with the title "In the Importance of Public Speaking for Businessmen," held by STEKOM University in collaboration with PTIC, or Smart Indonesian Teacherpreneur Association, and Autonomous University of Baja, California, Mexico, and Alvianto International University, Kyrgyzstan. It is a great pleasure and an honor of this international webinar. May I first take this opportunity to express my gratitude and appreciation, as well as extend cordial welcome to all of the audiences, in particular all the speakers of today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, the art of communication is the language of the businessman, the owner, and the leader. All great businessmen are great communicators. All great business owners are great communicators, and all great leaders as well. To manage a business or company or a team, it's just like driving a big ship. We make this degree turn when the ship will turn. And very often, employee problems or our business problem is usually caused by our lack of employee performance, lack of communication, lack of business image, and lack of trustness. Also, lack of communication, lack of sales, lack of communication. For example, lack of communication from the company to the marketplace. Ladies and gentlemen, public speaking for businessmen as a speaker and as a businessman, the branding piece is all about who you speak to, what industry or business you are involved in. Do you have a niche focus? In other words, a hyper-focused group of people that you target. What's your message? What's your business value proposition? They are all the parts of a professional speaking business that give rise to the most important piece, which is what do you speak about? What do you speak about it to, and what's the value proposition of your speaking? In other words, what happens to the audience or to your business after they have seen you speak? What outcome do they have? Ladies and gentlemen, the topic of our discussion this time is very interesting. So it will be explained more detail by our special speakers today. This is just a little information that I can share to you all. You can get more detail about the importance of, and to conclude, I would like to extend my appreciation to the International Affairs Organization of STEKOM University for making this international webinar. And finally, I wish you to enjoy the events today. Let's pray that our effort remains in the blessing of God. Amen. Thank you very much, Novita.
Yeah, thank you for opening speech. And the next and first presentation, we will listen from Dr. Estela Solís Gutiérrez from Autonomous University of Baja, California. Yeah, for Dr. Estela. Yeah, you can start for this session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Give me 1 second so I can share my screen. Is it okay right now? Are you seeing my images?
Yes, we can see your PPT.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello and good day to all of you. I am very honored to be here, and I want to thank STEKOM University and all the people who are responsible for this webinar for all their hard work and effort on creating this event. The topic that brings us together is one that is very important because it talks about a skill that is indispensable for us humans of the 21st century, especially if you plan to work in the area of business and industry. And the topic is the importance of public speaking as a skill that we can all benefit from improving. I would like to start by sharing with you something about my country and my culture. As you may know, Mexico, as most of the territories in Latin America, were conquered by Spain in the 18th century and early 16th century. But before the Spaniards came, in the center of Mexico used to live a group of people called the Mexica or Aztecs. Maybe you have heard of them. The Aztecs had a very particular word to refer to their leader, which was the equivalent of emperor or king or president if you think of him in contemporary times. The title that they used was Tlatoani, and Tlatoani means the one who speaks or the Lord of the words. This means that the concept of being a ruler or a governor, the idea of being the ultimate owner of the land, of overseeing markets and temples, was for the Aztecs strongly related to the use of words in public context. That is a small clue that lets us see that from the beginning of times, words have power, and the person who exercises the use of words in public has the advantage of being seen as a leader and also has the power to share information and knowledge. The city where I live is in the extreme northwestern part of Mexico, and it is called Mexicali. Let me tell you a little bit about the city and how its history helped us learn about the importance of public speaking and communication, particularly in intercultural environments. Mexicali is a very young city, created around 1904, so it is almost 120 years old, very young, as I said. In the beginning, its population was made up of North American people, a big Chinese community, a group of indigenous people from the Cucapa Nation, and a relatively small group of Mexicans. This was a rich and diverse multicultural community which grew and flourished in a virtual desert established right in the border with the United States of America. This diversity made it obvious that people needed to find ways to communicate and get along And so communication became a very important topic and a necessity right from the start. As you can see in this picture, there is the front of one of the buildings. This is the front of a store in the 1920s. And you can see that the titles, that the letters that are in the building, they are in 3 different languages. They're in Spanish, in English, and in Chinese. And that was common in the beginning of the city. That diversity is still a key characteristic that defines Mexicali to this day, due to its well-established manufacturing industries in the fields of aerospace and defense, automobile parts, electronics, and medical devices, among others. The over 190 manufacturers established in the city require a workforce that is not only well prepared in their respective fields, but also that are proficient in communicating with others one-on-one or publicly, and that are competent in the use of words. That is how public speaking has come to be an essential skill for the students of our university in a wide variety of fields, from social science to business administration to engineering, etc. The field of public speaking is not always easy. Many people feel intimidated about standing up in front of a group or holding a microphone in their hands. It is okay. It's a normal fear, but it's something that we all have to work on to be able to overcome that nervous feeling and acquire the skill that is going to make us better prepared for our jobs and for our lives in general. Here are a few key points that can help you. I divided them in 3 categories to make it easier. One is preparation, the second one is shape or form, and the third one is content. We're going to see each one of them. Preparation. First of all, you have to believe in yourself. Each and every one of you have a unique way of seeing the world and a unique way of understanding your discipline. So trust that. Be confident. Number 2, responsibility. Think of yourself as the owner of many beautiful and precious gifts. Each thing you know and each skill you have are like gifts that have the potential of changing someone's life. But in order to do that, they need to be shared. You cannot keep them all for yourself. You have the responsibility to share them with the world. Number 3, get to know your audience. This is particularly relevant when you work in multicultural environments, because you have to be sensitive to cultural misunderstandings that could develop due to the difference in linguistic codes, social codes, and their meaning. Number 4, respect your audience and their culture. Recognizing the underlying aspects and manifestations of culture and religious beliefs is a vital skill that requires great sensitivity and openness when preparing a speech or a presentation. Number 5, believe in the product or service that you're sharing. Be aware of the importance of the information you are sharing with others and believe in it. Okay, now we go to the key points that are related to shape or form. Number 6, you need to have a clear objective in mind. It is important that you know what you want to achieve to maintain focus through your talk. You need to know, it is very important that you know that thing that you want to achieve with your talk. And number 7, make sure you have a structure. That means that you need to have a beginning, a middle, and an end in every talk and in every presentation that you make. Finally, we have content. Here we have content. Let life come into your talk. That is very important. And what it means is that you have to use examples, that you have to use stories, even you can use jokes if they are related to the subject. But beware when using jokes in your conferences, in your conversations, or in your presentations, because when you use many jokes, people will laugh maybe, and it will be a comic relief, but they may not take very serious what you say in your talk. So beware, use them, but use them wisely, okay? Then we have number 9. Always try to be clear and to explain the terms that are difficult, and use redundancy in the pieces of information that are relevant to your objective. That means don't be afraid of repeating things maybe in a different way with different words, because redundancy is a very important tool and a key to make yourself understood, especially when you are working in multicultural environments. And finally, at the end, summarize the key points and emphasize your objectives with a clear affirmation. So you have to finish your talks, you have to finish your presentations, summarizing the key points, and always coming back to the objective that you set at the beginning. Here you have all the points together. There you have the 10 key points that I consider indispensable in the preparation of public speaking, either if it is in person or virtually through the means of technology like this webinar. And please make sure you see that half of them are related to the pre-production part of the process. So please consider the importance of preparation before giving a seminar or a conference. Preparation is key. Preparation is the most important part of the process. As you have seen in the past few minutes, public speaking is a skill, and the good news is that if it is a skill, it can be learned. Very few people are naturally born with this ability, but we all can work on it. We all can work on it and improve, preparing ourselves, researching, practicing in front of a mirror if necessary, and even learning new languages to extend your reach and take your words further. And don't forget to enjoy the process. That is a very important part. If there is only one thing that you are going to take away from this talk, let it be this, that public speaking is a skill indispensable for leadership and therefore for business. You cannot afford to avoid speaking in public. I'm saying that repeating what Bridget Sampson said in a TED Talk that I find that it was very important. You cannot afford to avoid speaking in public. It is a requirement if you want to reach your full potential. So build up your confidence, do the research needed, trust yourself, and enjoy. It is okay to be nervous because it means you care, but don't let those nerves stop you. Nobody expects perfection from you. What we want is a shared experience. Remember, you have gifts that need to be shared, and there are people out there waiting for them. That is why public speaking is not optional for professionals as you. It is also our responsibility. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was very interesting.
Yeah, thank you for Dr. Estela. And the second presentation, we have Mr. Wibi Ardi Alvianto. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let me share screen my presentation. My audio is clearly for you all. Okay. Give me a minute. Okay, can you see my presentation? Is Novita?
Yes. Yes,
Oh,
sure.
okay. Good morning and good afternoon for everyone. Hello, my name is Wibi Alvianto as a lecturer of STEKOM University. Thank you for the opportunity given to me. Thank you for Rector of the STEKOM University, Dr. Joseph Teguh Santoso M.Com, Intelligent Indonesian Teacherpreneur Association, PTIC, Head of the Autonomous University of Baja, California, Mexico, Alatu International University, Kyrgyzstan, and all the great speakers of today, and of course, all the audience of today's webinar. I'm very happy to able to present material about the importance of public speaking for businessmen. I think these soft skills are very important, not only in the professional field, but to help us in daily communication with family, siblings, friends, and coworkers. By speaking in a structured and clearly manner, whatever we want to convey to our interlocutor will be conveyed on target. So, hopefully there will be no miscommunication in every sentence we convey. Okay. Let me tell you a little about Indonesia. Indonesia is a country with various ethnic groups, cultures, and religions. The capital city of Indonesia is Jakarta. Even though we are different, we are still one. We respect each other, and we also take the line Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which means is difference but still one. That's a little story about my country, Indonesia, and I love Indonesia. Okay, now I want to start my presentation about public speaking. I titled my presentation is the role of public speaking in marketing communication. So we need to know what is public speaking. When you are asked to give a public speech or you are leading a presentation, you speak in front of many people, you are implementing public speaking. And this is public speaking according to expert. From Merriam-Webster dictionary, the definition of public speaking according to Merriam-Webster dictionary can be interpreted as the act or skill of speaking to a large group of people usually. From the quote above, it shows the public speaking is a skill that a person is speaking, both in the form of large group or small groups. Public speaking from David Serversky. Public speaking is a form of continuous communication through message and symbols by way interaction with speakers and audience. sorry. Now, do you know fear of public speaking felt by 75% of adults? Public speaking is an ability to many people need for many jobs. Even though it's look like easy, like it's just talking, but it turns out public speaking is one thing scares many people. There are many studies that mention the fear of public speaking. One of them, CNBC News, wrote that 75 of adults are afraid to speak in public. So you are not the only one who suddenly feel nervous, cold sweats, and nervous when asked to speak in public. There are so many who feel that way. Although scary for many people, the good news is that public speaking is a soft skill that can be learned and developed. Now, why is public speaking important? Public speaking is an important communication skill not only for your career, but also for your daily life. You will have a moment where you have to speak in public. For example, presenting in front of the class, leading a meeting, presenting in front of a team or client and others. With good public speaking skill, you can convey ideas, information, or other things well. In addition, you will also become more confident, can lead others, and influence others. Public speaking skills can also expand your networking. This is very important for us. When you speak well in public, people can be amazed and want to talk to you. This can be a good opportunity to build new relationships, to start many new positive things. For example, build a business together and collaborating on a certain project. For me, public speaking was quite scary when I first thought, but I faced our student. Of course, they are adults seeing the situation in front of them. When I see student eyes, it makes me afraid to say the wrong things. I ended up just reading the manual I wrote last night. This experience has been going on for quite a while, but I didn't feel good. So in the end, I learned from someone who is really great at public speaking. I learned from someone and I imitated and I was trapped in my class when I was teaching and that's working. How to improve public speaking skills? First, practice and practice. Feeling nervous, afraid, and nervous when going to do public speaking is normal, okay? To reduce that feeling, you can do good preparation and also a lot of practice. You need practice every day in your mirror or in your friend, but this is very important. You need to practice and practice. A lot of practice, maybe it won't make your appearance perfect. There will be minor errors that may occur, but with lots of practice, you will get better at what you're practicing. You can do public speaking exercise in front of a mirror, in front of your friends, or you can record using your cell phone. You will find things that are lacking, for example, still stammering, speaking too fast, saying too many filler words, You can do this. You can say for yourself, I can do this in your mirror. So for me, practice and practice make experience for your life, for grow up your public speaking. Second, get to know the audience. Public speaking means that you convey a message or idea to an audience. For your message to be delivered effectively, you need to know who your audience is. For example, how old are they, their hobbies and interests, education level, socioeconomic status, and others. By knowing your audience, you can structure and convey the right information for them. For example, you are invited to be a public speaker at a health training event at an elementary school. For example, elementary school children are 7 from 12 years old. Talking to children will not be suitable if you use scientific language. You can do that. So, show research journal or searching data. They won't understand, okay? And they'll be bored. But it will be suitable if you talk in a relaxed style while playing lots of pictures, use simple language and others. So, knowing your audience can help you convey your message effectively so that the message can be received and understood properly. Third, master the material. Have you ever seen a person who is speaking or presentation in front of, but he is reading, really reads everything there is to talk about? What do you think? Looks unprofessional, stiff, and boring, right? Therefore, it is very important to master the material to be delivered. So, you can discuss the material in simple and improvised language. The audience doesn't get bored. In addition, you also look professional and can make the audience believe what you say. This is very important for your public speaker. If you make a small note to cheat a little, that's fine. But don't read it all, okay? Or creating script, humor, and stories. To avoid forgetting material or discussing material that is too broad everywhere, you can create a script of material outline. This script is in the form of a small note that can be used as a cheat sheet. Can you read down the order of the points to be conveyed, keyword for certain discussion or games, if any, question and answer session, and others? When you suddenly forget what the next point, for example, you can look at the note and continue the conversation smoothly. This is, for me, little note. It's very important. Even we don't remember the points, we can back the points. Okay. In public speaking, you don't always have to look serious and stiff. You can insert humor to grab the audience attention and reduce background. If you can use humor, you are afraid or your jokes will run dry, you can use your stories. Stories can give the audience a personal, emotional touch, but make sure the story is still connected with the topic being discussed. Okay. Do not connect and even spread everywhere. 5. Speak clearly. In order for the message to be conveyed well to the audience, then you must speak clearly. The meaning of speaking clearly is not muttering. The articulation is clear. The fragments of word or sentence are also clear. In addition, you also need to pay attention to the tone and sound setting. For example, voice pressure and speaking speed. For example, speaking too fast can make it difficult for the audience to receive information. Besides that, you also get tired faster and have difficult controlling your breath. Good material without clear delivery, it's certainly very unfortunate. 6, learn and pay attention to body language. Yeah. Body language is a movement that is done unconsciously and without engineering by someone. Body language is a form of nonverbal communication, can emphasize ideas or message that you convey. Not limited to body movements, body language also includes facial expression, eye contact, body movement, and more. For example, eye contact. When in front of an audience, try to stay ahead and look at the audience evenly. This is done so that the audience feel involved in the conversation. Another example, facial expression. Smiling at the audience every now and then can make them comfortable. You can learn what body language should be done and avoid with public speaking and practice it in your home. 7, use audiovisual. To make presentation or public speaking more interesting, you can take advantage of audiovisual assistance. For example, display pictures, videos, or audios that can support the topic you are discussing. You can also use audiovisual content as a quiz so that interaction with the audience occurs. For example, you are presenting material about a brand, okay? And guessing a brand logo in 5 seconds, or hearing a brand's jingle for 5 seconds, and then guessing it, and so on. But make sure the use of audio visual is not excess and working because the main star is still you. Okay. Audio and visual are only complementary. One second. Okay. Public speaking for marketing. The ability of a marketer when talking to customers or prospective customers has now become a standard of competence in several companies. In the context of the company's interest, the ability to talk to the customers is not only how to convey message to prospect your customers, but there must also be an element of effectiveness that can be seen from how much success it has. Success in conveying the intent and purpose of what marketers want to say is influenced by self-confidence when conducting prospect with customers. Often, even though a marketer already has an adequate understanding of the product, when they start talking to their prospect customer, they feel insecure. As a result, The closing opportunity that was in front of the eyes passed just like that. Several activities, especially those that are the responsibility of PRGA and secretaries, are sure to carry out to many activities such as presentation, POT, negotiation, and others. This position requires a reliable public speaking and understand effective public speaking strategies. That is why public speaking is the most valuable provision at this time. Because with the ability to public speaking, a person will easily achieve success. When we have an extraordinary ability to play words and sentence, other people will not feel sure about what we are talking about. For this reason, the ability of public speaking must continue to be developed, one of which through training activity. Actively participating in company activity, actively speaking in forums and direct practice to the community. Purpose of public speaking for marketing. Participants are able to form a mindset about the importance of speaking skills in carrying out the marketing function. Participants are able to optimize their confidence in speaking so that process of delivering to meaning and purpose of the message can run effectively. Participants are able to analyze the wishes of the audience and accommodate them in the material presented. Participants are able to do public speaking in an interesting and impressive manner without reducing the message conveyed. Public speaking method. Impromptu method or spontaneity. Spontaneous public speaking. The method of public speaking is done without planning, without a written script or written careful preparation. This method is used for speeches that are sudden and present according to the need of the time. The advantage of the impromptu method is that the language used is short. So it is it not boring and the speaker is free to choose the topic of discussion but is right according to the event. Meanwhile, the weakness of the impromptu method is that sometimes the material delivered is not sequentially or systematical, and there might be things that are forgotten because of their sudden nature without preparation. So, the impromptu method in speech is a method used to deliver speech spontaneously without any preparation. Reading manuscripts. Manuscript reading is a public speaking method that is done by reading a script that has been prepared beforehand, often used to avoid mistakes in words and speech because it is conveyed formally, official, officially to the general public. Advance of the manuscript methods. First, not afraid of being wrong because all you have to do is read the manuscript, can arrange sentence and word as best as possible. Saving statement, speak more fluently, minimize slipping of the tongue. Manuscript can be reproduced, but disadvantage of the manuscript method. First, reduce interaction with audience. Seem you look unskilled, look stiff, takes longer preparation, your time, maybe was your time, I don't know. And audience response is difficult to influence the message and lack of interactive. Memories method. Method by memorizing the text that has been prepared previously. So, in terms of delivery, it remains organized, does not stray anywhere, and remains effective. This method is perfect for those of you who like challenges. And the advance of the public speaking memorator method is you look more authoritative and cool. You look smarter and more than smarter everyone. And your messages are neatly organized. But weakness of the public speaking memorator method is if you forget, you can lose control while talking. Requires longer preparation time. The brain will work harder because it has to memorize the text that has been prepared. That's a memory method. You can choose any method in your public speaking. Using notes. Using notes is the most recommended. This is recommended for me, for you all. Method of public speaking. This method is very working for me. And the content of using note is not the content of the lecture of word. Yeah. But as a grid of outline or outline only. Viewers develop spontaneously in front of the stage. In other words, this method required speaking and critical thinking skills. This method is highly recommended for those of you who are used filling out seminars or public speaking. For those of you who still haven't had enough flying hours, that's okay. Go slowly. Everything needs to be learned as used to. This is advantage of using notes. There is interaction with the audience. Message delivered according to the needs of the audience. Presentation is more spontaneous. You look professional and cool, but weakness of using notes like this. If the preparation is in a hurry, the results are not optimal. Okay. If the preparation is in a hurry, the results are not optimal. If it is not usual, the chosen diction will be less interesting. The potential for deviation from the initial order is very large. So, this is 7 public speaking habits of successful entrepreneur. The secret their success come from their public speaking habits. First, focus on the audience. Before the first habits, I want to tell something. You have delivered good presentation before, but personally, you don't know how to take your public speaking skill to the next level. This happened to the best of us, even pros will constantly get paid to speak. However, successful entrepreneurs keep speaking. They may find it challenging to give a great, head talk in your in television, but they still speak again and again. They aren't superheroes and they don't have a magic power. So, what is the secret? Their success comes from their public speaking habits. If you are stuck and frustrated with your progress, you can copy from somebody else in either content, in delivery, or both. I'm not talking about real copying. Of course, it is more like learning from what successful entrepreneurs do. Done right, this can quickly improve your public speaking skills and help you position yourself as an authority in the industry. Okay, seven method. Sorry, seven public speaking habits of successful entrepreneurs. Focus on the audience. Stories about your experience will be more interesting than just focusing with the materials. Most entrepreneurs worry, how will I look on stage? They focus on themselves. Successful entrepreneurs think differently. They don't focus on themselves. They focus on the audience and you all. World-class speakers ask like this: what do I want the audience think? Do or feel differently after my presentation? Focus on sharing your message with the audience and you will become more successful. Okay. Focus on the audience, not your themselves. Okay. Second, engage. Audience must be involved. Make them feel they have to take part in your conversation. The scarcest commodity in the business world is attention. If you are a boring speaker, the audience will check their emails, or think about where they have dinner tonight. To grab the audience attention, you need to keep them engaged. One easy way is to engage people emotion. Ask questions, tell stories, or play a short videos. The more engaging your presentation is, the more attention you can get from the audience. 3, be conversational. Be a low profile figure with easy keywords. Have you ever heard presenters using buzzwords such as leverage and synergy to make themselves sound more professional? Their words are meaningless. Successful entrepreneurs avoid buzzwords. They use simple words to make sure that everyone understands what they say. To get your point across, use simple words that even a 10 years old can understand. You can tell powerful stories. Interesting story will grab the audience attention. Stories are powerful because they engage people emotion. When you engage people emotion, they will pay attention and be inspired to take action. Story help you stand out from the crowd. The best story are usually from your personal experience because you know them best and nobody can challenge you. I used to always have a problem when speaking in public. Where should I start? What interests the audience? What topics can make me look cool? All these talks frightens me so much that my mind was confused, and when I started to speak, all the preparation suddenly disappeared. Cold sweat started pouring out. I was really bad on stage. But the experience made me learn how to control myself and prepare myself. Then I started watching people speak plainly in public. They were very confident. I know the structure of their speech from opening to closing. I regard everything in details, from their speaking style to their body language. I know. Then I started practicing in front of my mirror. I practiced many times until I got used to it. After I was ready, I began to dare to return to stage to speak. Although a bit of work, at least I have a role model that I can imitate. You can have a role model that you can imitate in yourself. Just found one role model. With a role model, we will be able to know what is the best way to attract the attention of the audience. So look for a figure that we can imitate and modify. One second. You can use slides that are visually engaging. Simple slide with one picture and a few main sentences. Average entrepreneurs use hundreds of bullet points in presentation slides. The bullet attack makes the audience feel, oh my God, another boring presentation. Successful entrepreneurs use slides differently. Instead of bullet points, they use pictures. You know, Gary Reynolds from Presentation Sense shared the idea of using more visuals and fewer words. Make sure every slide has that express the whole idea and use as few words as possible. This simple approach will make your presentation more memorable. Get coaching. The key to peak performance is coaching. Fostering is a good way because what we convey can have an impact and benefit the audience. They take the time to attend to listen to us. Of course, there must be benefit that they take from the results of the marketing with us. For example, giving them one of the skills in trading, practice directly when in a conversation. It will be very meaningful for those who really need training in trading and fluent in speaking to offer their product. Seven, and this is the last, keep learning. World-class entrepreneurs never stop learning because they want to be on top of the industry. If you are not learning, you are dying. Even the presentation experts keep learning. They read new books, attend seminars, and watch TED Talks to expand their skills. You can use any of the habits described in this post to start improving your public speaking. So, go out there and start speaking. So, in this great opportunity, this event webinar, I have a quote for you, closing my presentation today. If you are tired, learn to rest, not to stop. Okay, I will be Ardi Alvianto. Thank you for this time. I'm back to host Mrs. Novita. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for Mr. Wibi. And the last presentation, we have Dr. Zhyldyzbek Zhakshylykov as a Director of International Distance Learning Center from Alvianto International University. Yeah, for Dr. Zhyldyzbek Zhakshylykov, the time is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to share my presentation. The rector, the Dr. Estela, Dr. Wibi, and the very esteemed listeners. I hope they are students. I'm happy to be one of you, and I thank you for inviting to this event, and also I appreciate Novita's efforts, communication, sending me all type of information, etc. Thank you, Novita. So let me share my presentation. Where is it? Let me check. Can you hear me well, and can you see my presentation?
Yeah, yes, sure.
Thank you. In our tradition, maybe in other traditions, there's a saying like that. Your speech is what your listeners understood. So in this context, as someone whose research is on lean concept, my presentation is going to be lean public speaking. So the topic of today's event is the importance of public speaking. And before my presentation, I will want to tell about three types of or three reasons why it is important, why the public speaking is important. There are, of course, different types of public speaking formats, each with a different purpose, and most of them applies most to businessmen, businesswomen. Number one is speaking to inform. Why we deliver public speech. Speaking to inform means that you have information you wish to relate to your audience. The primary purpose of this format is to help the audience gain knowledge of a particular process, place, person, or event. As a leader or as someone who delivers a speech, you would be using this because the information you are providing is either to be accountable to your team or to aid them in their work, in their future work. The second reason may be to speak to persuade your audience. Speaking to persuade means that you are trying to influence your audience to think and act in a certain way. The primary purpose of this is to align your team members to members' goals with organizational goals, to demonstrate your statement of purpose, and to get the buy-in for a particular decision you are making. So,
Pardon, sir? Yeah, we can see your PPT. It's not invisible.
you can see my PPT?
Yes, but not move.
No, I'm just making my
Okay, I get it. It's okay.
introduction. So, in the context of all my introduction, I will continue with my presentation. Yes. And then the third reason may be the speaking to inspire. Personal speaking to inspire is the best kind of public speaking because of its power to motivate and encourage your team. So in this context, I will present my lean public speech topic, which means efficient public speech, effective public speech, productive public speech, in short, value-added public speech. So by the end of my presentation, if time permits, we'll try to, with my listeners, we'll try to find out at least 3 signs of or 3 characteristics of lean public speech. So for lean public speech, voice of public, voice of listeners, audience matters. As someone who delivers his or her speech should take into account and should care about the audience emotions, audience, what does the listener see? What does a listener see? What do they think? What do they feel here about your topic? What are they going to say or do after your presentation? Do they have any pain, any gain, etc.? So before your presentation, for lean public speech, it is not a must, but it is required to get more information about these things so that you can you can find a synergy with your audience. So don't harm key stakeholders, respect people, as also one of our speaker Estela says. Respect all of the respect the feelings, emotions, background, religion, etc. Be flexible, facilitate, and don't complicate. Just do those things what you want to do. If you want to persuade them, do that thing. If you want to deliver just an information, deliver your information, etc. Or if you want to motivate, as Professor Alvianto says, clearly list out all those things to motivate them and just deliver it. So one of the example to do it maybe this picture, to be simple, to be flexible. For example, this picture is one of the students' final examination. So the teacher's objective or goal was to teach all the objectives of the course, not force the student to write 5 to 6 papers of final examination. So as someone who delivers his or her speech, he also should be flexible, and by using our creativity, we can facilitate our speech. The another excuse me. Another sign of lean public speech may be the following presentation. Pull the information in this following presentation. Pull the information from the public or audience versus pushing your wants. So if you have a lot of time, I would suggest collect more information from your audience, from your students. Collect more information from the background, and deliver or prepare a speech according to this basis. So it is called pull versus push. And another definition or explanation of this pull versus push concept is learn from the public, or learn from the process. Learn during your speech. Here we can see another possible sign of lean public speech, which comes from the Japanese philosophy, which is called 3M, Mura, Muri, Muda. So you should be sure that you should be sure that you are not wasting your time. You are not wasting your listeners' time, and you are not giving wrong information, and you are giving true information, right information, according to your listeners' needs, listeners' requirements, listeners' wants, your audience's wishes, and audience's let's say what they want. So your time should be balanced. Every single presentation should be your listener oriented and centered, etc. Another sign of lean public speech may be from this presentation, which is maximizing stakeholders' values while minimizing waste. So we should be it is important to care about your listeners or audience's values, and not to waste your time or not to waste their resources, other resources. Here, stakeholders stand for public, government, society, environment, or your audience. In this context, every speaker should ask this question: could I add any value to my speech? Or I should ask to myself, could I add any value to this event? Was every single presentation added value or non-value added? Was every single presentation or slide of this event non-value added? Have I learned exactly what I want? Have I learned exactly what I expected? Were my expectations met? What were my expectations before the event? And what about the status quo right now, according to my expectations, etc., etc. So every single participant of this event should ask to himself or herself this question. So even every single presenter or professor, 3 presenters should ask, could we add any value to this event by our presentations, etc. So this is this may be one of the sign of lean public speech. As I mentioned in the previous slides, a good presenter, a good speaker learns from the process, from his speech, from any type of events during his speech, while he is delivering his information, etc. So actually, my presentations are over. If time permits, I would like to ask to listeners, to students, to find out if, by using their questions, find out 3 signs of lean public speaking. Is it possible, Novita? Just make the presentation interactive. I would like to ask or join them to the event and let them ask some questions about my presentation and find out 3 signs of lean public speaking. Or our professors may also join, but I would like to, I want speakers, listeners, our students to join. Yes. Miss Novita. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Is it possible to join our students to make?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Or are our listeners students?
Yeah.
Okay, they can join
Oh, usually we have a Q&A session
ask it.
at the last presentation, sure.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, someone is raising his or her hand.
Well, oh, just a
Bahrul,
moment.
you can write a question or ask question. Because as I know, I have a time, as you said. The time is for presentation and for questions and answers. Yes, so I'm using my time.
It's
Bahrul Anam is raising her hand.
yeah, for Bahrul Anam, maybe you can start from. No, wait, Akstun. Or maybe you can.
Just I want to make sure that they understood my presentation, and I checked my time. I have a few minutes more, so if it is okay, we will wait for the questions. Is it okay, Miss Novita?
Is it okay, sir?
Our professors, yes, Bahrul Anam.
I'm sorry. Let me introduce myself. My name is Bahrulana, and I want to ask you about the presentation of this public speaking skill, because my question is, what if we have a difficulties in the middle of our conversation, in the public speaking section? For example, we want to talking about the product that we will be represent to our listener, but we have kind of difficulty. Actually, our competence is full of the things that we have to learn, and we have so many things in our brain. But when we try to produce the idea, to represent the idea in our brain, it's kind of difficult. What kind of way to avoiding those kind of problems? I'm sorry. Thank you. That is my question.
Thank you, Bahrul. I think I found this question not so related to my topic, so I found it related to Professor Alvianto's topic. Professor Alvianto, can you answer to the student's question about anxiety and about the focus? As I understood, the question of students was. Could you hear the question of student, Professor Alvianto?
Maybe for any audience wanna ask question, you can write in room chat or you can raise your hand for our audience. Oh, we have Miss Azeda.
Okay, can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry, sir. I'm really nervous.
Yeah, don't be nervous.
Yeah, thank you. For reason learn public speaking, can you give tips on how to streamline long sentence into short and easy to understand sentence, sir?
Thank you. Yeah, there are several ways. As I mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, your speech, your presentation is what your listeners understand. So you can try, you can first of all write down your speech in short, in clear words, and test it with your relatives, saying them and asking them, do they understand your speech? It may be one of the ways. The another one is to use very simple words and avoiding very long and complicated words. So as I again mentioned in my presentation, don't complicate, just facilitate and use very simple words, very simple. And if you, if in our Kyrgyz people also, they are saying that if kind of a kid, if a kid understands your speech, you are a good speaker. So just it's very easy to test for you to write down your speech and then test around your relatives. It's my answer. So other professors may have also their answers. Please go. Miss Estela or Mr. Bye, please. It was very great question.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to continue for my question at the first. Actually, from the first page on your PPT is really, really short and simple. And this is make me because find anything sentence or find anything, the important things from your PPT, sir. It's difficult, but it's on the way, it's really easy.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. And also, I have question for Mr. Wibi Ardi Alvianto. Often many of us, when speaking in public, feel very nervous and have stage fright, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic. Many of us do not interact directly with other people, friends, or special events such as webinars, thus making we speak very less often. And when we want to speak in public, we suddenly feel nervous. So many sentences and words that we want to convey suddenly disappear, blank, like feeling suffocate in the neck, and we cannot say word. So, Mr. Wibi, can you give us some tips to solve this? Because not everyone is able to control nervousness in public. And to be honest myself, it is a very difficult thing. Thank you.
Okay, Miss Azeda. In my presentation, I give about the tips public speaking. So I want to show you how you can control your emotion. Maybe you want you get anxiety in your presentation. First, for me, even you have a time for public speaking, you need to know who your audience. Okay. So means that you convey a message or idea to an audience. For your message to be delivered effectively, you need, this is for me, you need to know who your audience is. So example, yeah, how old are they, what their hobbies, and what interests. Now, you can take a little note about that. You need to prepare yourself to read about this, about their audience. Maybe you blank in this session, maybe yeah, you blank. You can read your notes. Yeah, that's easy way you get back your the audience attention, and there you back your um, confidence. First, you take a note and prepare yourself, and you need to know who your audience. Okay. Have you ever seen a person who is speaking per sentence in front but is reading? Really, you know, reads everything there's talk about. Okay. Second, in my presentation, I have tips about your get attention your audience, your delivery material.
Yes.
Even when your audience boring and sleepy, you can use maybe your story, maybe, or you can use jokes in your presentation, and you can give body language. It's a movement in that is done unfortunately and without engineering by someone. So, second, you can use story, your experience, and you can get use jokes. Okay, there's second. Maybe there's tips for me.
Okay, thank you so much for answering and for tips, sir.
Yeah, for us, Miss Azeda, is it enough? Your question, may I know? Okay, I think it's enough.
Yes,
And
enough. Thank you.
okay, right, please. Yeah, and now we have a question for Miss Dr. Estela Solís. Yeah, I'm Rahma from STEKOM University. Permission to ask about public speaking for beginners. Can you recommend a powerful way so that we beginners can do public speaking well and correctly? How to start so we don't get nervous? Thank you.
Yes, sure. Thank you for the question. I am very honored to answer it. As far as I know, there is not a perfect and unique way that you can start doing public speaking. There is not a recipe, unfortunately, that we can follow, that you have to follow your instincts. But I believe that the recommendation that Dr. Alatu gave a few minutes ago about working with your relatives or with children or with people that you have confidence with, it would be a very powerful tool because it will help you to see the reaction of the people that are in front of you. And that is very important. I believe that this fear that we have about speaking in public comes from the fear of being ridiculous, of being laughed at, of being maybe not good enough at what we do. And that is a very general fear, and there is very legitimate, because we as human, we don't know what the other people are thinking. But as soon as you prove yourself, as you look inside yourself and see all the richness and all those great elements that you have in your mind, all your great ideas, and as soon as you start valuing those things, and as soon as you see the reaction, the positive reaction in people, in different kind of audiences, you are going to start building that confidence. You are, sadly, we are not born with that confidence, I believe. We have to build it. We have to work on it. And we work on it by learning the content that we are going to talk about, but by learning the words that can come in that information that may be difficult for us. You do it also by by practicing a new language, as we are doing right now. English is not my first language. I don't usually speak in this language, so it makes it an extra hard situation. So it is something that it might make you nervous. But as soon as you realize that you don't have to be perfect, that people are not expecting you to be perfect, they just want to share an experience. I heard the other day someone was saying that audience usually is willing to see you succeed. They want you to succeed because that means that you did something good, and that they are able to learn something from this time that they spend. So we are all in the same page. We are all looking to get the best of the situation. And once you realize that, everything is easier, and everything is kind of a group effort in which we all help each other to be better and to learn more. Because the purpose of these kind of seminars and the purpose of public speaking, I believe, is learning, is being a better person than you were before this started. So I think that it's something that you have to work on, that you have to try it, but also you have to let yourself enjoy it, because it is an enjoyable thing to do, because you are sharing what you are and what you know and where you come from. And that would be my recommendation. I cannot magically make people unafraid of these situations. I can only tell them that it's okay, that we are sharing, and if you make a mistake, it's also okay, and we are all better for being able to share this as a group. I believe so. So thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for our speaker. I think we don't have question again from our side. I mean, yeah, maybe okay. I continue the session closing. Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Finally, we come to the end of webinar. So unfortunately, we already way of the time until 12 p.m. in Indonesian time. So sadly, and we would like to say thanks again for our speaker, for Dr. Estela Solís and Dr. Wibi Alvianto and Dr. Zhyldyzbek Zhakshylykov. Yeah. For their information will be beneficial audience, and I hope we can meet again at other events. Yeah, thank you for all audience. Yeah, can we take a picture together maybe?
Yes, okay, so next we will take a picture for the audience did not open the camera, so you can open the camera, because I will take a picture of all of us. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and cheese. Okay. Okay, next screen. 1, 2, 3, and cheese. Okay, thank you. Thank you for all the speakers. Thank you so much. And I hope we will meet on the other events. Thank you, and thank you for all participants of this webinar.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Goodbye. Yeah, thank you so much.